So a couple of days ago, I found this post in the Drinking Coffee and Talking Watches group, and boy, did it get some reactions over the past couple of days. It was a couple of hundred comments, I think 316. So, and well, what should I say? I found them hilarious, and some of them are truly spicy. So I thought, why not take the hottest of these hot takes and discuss them with my fellow watch YouTuber Kai here. Also, I just made a community post where I would love to hear your hot takes on. So pause this video for a second before you continue watching. Head to that post, give me your hottest hot take, and then come back here and watch this video. And I should say, let's not waste any more time and start with the first hot take.
Spicy.
Spicy, yes. The first one says, you can never actually buy your Grail watch. Is that true? Would you say, you having just bought your alleged Grail watch, Kai?
Let's say I bought so many Grail watches in the past.
It's a thing.
I mean, it's a never-ending story, pretty much.
Is there even a Grail watch?
I think you develop yourself and your taste in watches, and also hopefully you progress in your life and you make new experiences, you set new goals. And that's why I think, first of all, the way to achieve the Grail watch, I think most of the time it's better than actually having it.
It's the hunt.
Yes, it's the hunt.
I kind of agree. It's the excitement that leads up to it. I think sometimes that might be the same with any kind of big thing in your life.
Yep.
When you think about it and you're so excited, you prep for it, you do all these things, and then everything leads up to that moment, and then you do it, and then it's like, well.
Okay. Do you remember when we moved in our house? We were hyped for like 2 years while renovating.
Right, it took a long time to renovate and
then we were in it, and it was so empty, and it was so... And I was just like, just as bad as before, but I have a lot more space to think about them.
We moved in and we had no furniture, and it was like, well, I might as well be just as depressed in this big house.
Yes, I think with watches it's the same, and I think you develop yourself, you go further, you reach new goals, and maybe you completely change your taste, and that's fine. I mean, with you also, in the beginning, I think you were a lot into Rolex only, but look now how you have... I mean, you're going to Serpenti, Cartier.
I've really, how do you say it? I've really spread my wings and developed my taste further. Not done yet, obviously, but so yeah, you really can never actually buy a Grail watch.
I think that's true.
It's when you bought your Grail watch, you have a new one.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
A Grail will always be the unattainable one.
Yep.
Good point. Good
point.
Hot take. Right, next one says Bond, so as in James Bond, wore Rolex and its canon. Omega's relationship with the franchise is lame because it's purchased product placement. You came to the right club.
You came to the right club.
Because we are not the biggest fans of Omega either.
But why aren't we?
Let me just get back to the hot take. Bond wore Rolex, it's canon, agreed. Omega's relationship with the franchise is lame because it is a purchased product placement. First of all, I don't have anything against product placement if it works. And I think that is exactly the core piece of this hot take. It does not work. I know it works for a lot of people, but I feel like it's since there already was something previously to the Omega Bond watch, everyone is like, oh well, but initially he wore a Rolex. So yes. I agree. It's a good hot take. I agree. It's I don't want to say lame. It is just
It is what it is. It's a product placement.
It works for Daniel Craig. I think he wears it well.
With Rolex, it felt like...
What did it feel like?
The writer, so Ian Flemings, and this is just something which seems to have possibly came out of him. He says, of course, Bond wears a Rolex. And with Omega, it feels more like Omega came to them and told them, hey, need some additional production budget. How about Bond wears an Omega? And there were at 10 million. Let's go.
When did they start? Did they introduce Omega with Daniel Craig's Bond?
No, with, I think, don't get me wrong here, Pierce Brosnan.
See, since this is not my generation of Bond, I'm so not in the picture of what he wore.
But also, if you think about it, I think Daniel Craig has a lot of Rolexes in his private collection, which he started wearing again after his Bond time was over, which speaks a lot, I think. Yes.
See, they should have given him more money Be
Yes.
like, for like additional 10 years, you need to be seen with Omega
I
on
think
your
they
wrist.
do, because he still wears them. No, just kidding. It's not the worst product placement ever. I think
It's not the
it
worst.
fits pretty good, but not. It has a taste.
It does.
In Germany, you say it has a taste.
It leaves a taste.
It leaves a taste.
I agree. Scratches don't give a watch character. You're just justifying being too lazy to maintain your stuff. Can I just pop in here? Yes and no. And listen,
Let's
here's
blend
why.
in this video where you hit your new Oyster Perpetual on the arrow.
Listen, yes, it adds character because it adds to the story of your watch while you wear it. But it's not like a pet peeve. It's not that big of a deal to me because people can do with their stuff whatever they want to. But when I see someone being purposefully non-caring with their stuff, no matter if it's watches or
cars.
or whatever, if it's a luxury item and they're like F that, I don't care. I think that's just bad form. And I think you should appreciate your things. You should be grateful, not to like an OCD level kind of extent, but don't mess up your stuff and be like, whatever.
Yes, I think it depends. Everyone can do whatever they want, of course.
Yes.
But
sure.
also, it's also not like if you see a scratch in your watch and you say, oh yeah, wow, that important moment where I scratched my watch over my ceramic plate in the kitchen. Wow,
Yeah.
I love it.
I remember it so fondly.
Yes. So I think, as always, like a good thing in the middle, and everyone should do what they want. But
Agree.
I see it the same way. It shows a love to the product if you really care for it and want to maintain it in a good condition.
Agree. Exactly. It shows your love for it and your respect. If a scratch happens, it's fine, but you
Yep.
don't need to make it like your whole identity that
Yep.
you wear scratched up watches. That's the thing, I think.
Yes.
Making it your identity, be like, oh my gosh, what? The scratches, of course, I'm wearing my watches.
That's
And
nonsense.
they look fucking awful.
They do.
Oh, right. Next one says, Rolex is overrated and overpriced for the quality and finish. Well, you, good sir, are not correct.
That's bad, and you should feel bad.
That is bad.
Now, is Rolex actually a good watch company? Do they make good watches?
Yes. Even, I would say, that's not even an opinion. That's a fact. And I'm not talking about like superb, excellent, incredible. They make good watches.
Yes, and there was something about the
Rolex is overrated
not
and
well finished.
Overrated and overpriced for the quality and finish.
Which watch that costs over like $1 is not overpriced for
Good point.
the finish and the I think
That's
it's about overpricing
That
them.
is the point of luxury.
That's the point of luxury.
Branding and marketing. Of course, it's overpriced. That's why you buy it
You know what annoys me?
in a way.
It annoys me when you hear people talking, and I have them occasionally under my YouTube videos. You can tell.
Like comment on it?
Yes, these are not people that are super deep into luxury watches, because they comment like, oh no, everyone who knows watches knows that Rolex is so shit and that's bad watches. And I think that's something. Rolex is like, their watches are not like 10 times better than other watches.
No.
But from the reliability, also from the finishing, from the quality, it's top tier. Right there with, I would say, like Omega maybe on the same level.
In terms of like finishing and stuff?
Finishing, quality, reliability. But it's a damn good watch, and you can wear your Rolex for like 30 or 50 years with having it in the service like maybe 4 or 5 times, and it will outlive you.
I agree. It is there for a reason. It has the status for a reason, I think.
Yep.
And not just since yesterday. It's been decades now, so...
Yes. Where do you think it comes from that so many, that a lot of people say, for example, Rolex is not even a good watch brand. They don't know. Where does it come from?
It's people thinking they are so much better and more knowledgeable if they disagree with the
mainstream.
mainstream. Why does mainstream get so much shit? I love Taylor Swift. I love Rolex. So, and that's good.
Rolex.
Exactly. Right. Next up is kind of related to this. It says, don't buy a cheap watch made to look superficially like a Rolex or Omega. You aren't fooling anyone. And if it's a good enough fake, I'm sorry, Hommage, it says, you might just make yourself a target for like robberies and stuff. Buy a Seiko, Citizen Orient, or Timex instead. You will get original designs and value for your money. So this one is someone who is kind of hating on Hommage watches.
Yes.
Or watches pretending to be one of the more popular models from popular brands. And he's saying go for like more affordable watches like from Seiko, Citizen.
Original watches, like not one-to-one copying designs from like...
Not like a Pagani.
Yeah, Pagrne.
Design.
No, yes, is my... There's such a big discussion about it.
It is. That
right?
could be an entire video in itself.
Yep.
I don't mind Hommage watches. I'm not on board with the Hommage watches that are like shit, as in like cheap, very cheaply made, hurting your wrist when wearing it. You scratch yourself, you like cut yourself on the sharp edges.
Yes.
They don't work properly. They've got like a chronograph print on it on the dial, but it's not a chronograph function in the movement. That stuff is, you will waste your money on it.
Where would you draw the line between an homage and kind of a one-to-one copy with a different name on it?
Gee, I kind of have to that might be a bit hypocritical. That's the word I was looking for. Because to me, like if it's from a more well-known brand like a Tudor or Tissot, for example, and they do something that is borderline copying something bigger, I'll be like, oh yeah, no, they've got like a whole pass. They can do this because they're an established brand. So copying another is like in between friends, you can do this kind of situation.
Okay.
But if it's like an unknown or like a lesser known
like
brand,
Pagrne or
and they do
Pagani
something
design.
like this, I'll be like,
Davosa.
yeah. But it's difficult to say.
It's also like when Tudor makes an homage. For example, Black Bay GMT, it's an homage to the Pepsi. Of course it is. With the Pepsi bezel.
Yeah.
It's only the bezel. Everything else looks quite different. It's a lot thicker. The bezel is a lot thinner. The bezel is made out of aluminium, not of ceramic. The watch is not a GMT one-to-one copy. And with all these Pagrne design watches, it's really, on first glance, it looks like a Pepsi. And then on second glance, you see maybe a little bit other dial design. So I think it might be okay for like Tudor to make a GMT with a Pepsi bezel. Where I draw the line is kind of the Zenith Chronomaster Sports. I hate that watch.
Seriously?
And
that's where you would draw the line with something like...
I'm sorry, it looks like a Daytona.
You say that Tudor can homage a Pepsi, but Zenith, with their history with the El Primero movement, cannot homage a Daytona?
They can homage a Daytona, but it's really like Pagrne feeling one-to-one copy. I think there's nothing wrong in like doing an homage, but with the Zenith, it's clear that...
Too close?
Too close. And one more important point, it's the same price range. I think that makes a whole difference too.
Good point.
It seems like they're trying to steal market shares, which they don't achieve. I think, or achieved. They're trying to steal market shares by copying the Daytona brand.
I
but
see.
all the Zenith fans, I think, heavily disagree. Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments down below. That's a good, let us know in the comments down below. That would be an interesting thing to see how you guys might judge that. Right. Next one has 137 upvotes at this point, and it just says NATO straps are ugly. That is concise. NATO straps.
To quote Enes Yilmaz'a, I agree.
You agree?
I agree. I think NATO straps are super ugly.
Never
oh my God.
seen you with anything other than a steel or like a solid, like a precious metal bracelet.
I think I bought a NATO strap for my Hulk once just to try it out, and I think it made the whole watch look so cheap.
You are
and
not a strap guy.
I think NATO straps, there are watches for which it fits very well, field watches and
The
stuff.
Black Bay 58 looks great on a
I think I'm super sorry to offend a lot of people now, but I think NATO straps make every watch look a lot more cheap than it did before.
Okay, I disagree.
You disagree?
I do. To me, a NATO strap can make such a big difference in terms of comfort, and it makes me feel like sporty, and accessorizing my watch is like, ooh, look at me. Look at me. I just picked out this nice looking NATO strap that fits perfectly to my watch.
Which watches on a NATO do you have?
I had this one on the like a Bond NATO kind
You
of.
had.
You had a good point though.
Why did you change it back? Just for
Because
boredom?
when I wash my hands and I get my NATO strap wet, I can't stand the feeling of having something wet. You could argue it's a NATO fabric-ish kind of fabric. My Nomos.
Yeah, it's a NATO strap.
It's not like a classic NATO.
I think this is one of the few watches, the Nomos, which are pneumatic. That watch looks pretty nice on a NATO strap. Yes, but for most watches, it just makes watches more ugly and cheap.
Okay.
So I agree, you don't agree.
Agree to disagree. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, next one. 36 to 38 millimeter are just fine for men's wrists. Of course.
Yes, of course.
That's the classic size.
I mean, it depends on the wrist, of course. If you have like a
Not
wrist,
really, though.
Don't you think that some 2 meter, 120 kilogram muscle-packed man
like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes. Do you think he could wear like a Day-Date 36?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Or a Yachtmaster 37?
Okay, maybe not a Yachtmaster 37.
Why?
See, because like a Yachtmaster would be available in a bigger size, but let's say if you're having...
A Day-Date 2.
40 millimeter, yes. But I would still argue a 36 is a classic size. And if I see someone on the street walking down, huge guy, big wrists, or huge woman, big wrists, and like a smaller watch face, I'll be like, you know what? This person does not care.
There was a nice comment under my post in my German watch group on Facebook, which said, "There is no too small watch, only too small self-confidence." That was a nice one.
That is very well put.
I think in the end, wear whatever you like. If you like it. And for example, for myself, I love the Day-Date 18238, so the vintage one from 36 millimeters from the 90s. I think it's one of the best looking Rolexes of all time. But still, I would put the caveat that if you have really huge wrists, I think on some point it starts to look ridiculous, but it's a question of taste in the end.
That was very diplomatic.
Political correct.
Wow, good job.
Wow.
Next one is no one would buy a Rolex if it didn't say Rolex on the dial. Open fire. That's said in a comment.
Disagree. People buy Pagne. And it doesn't say Rolex on the dial. Objectively proven wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's what am I supposed to say? Yes, but that's the thing. though. It's not a bad thing. Why do people get so like their feathers ruffled? That's part of the marketing. That is also part of why buying this is so much fun.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
The entire image around it. It's a good watch paired with so much more. And listen.
Rolex.
Rolex. This is not something. Why should I be ashamed of that? People like say this to shame you. Be like, if it didn't say Rolex, you wouldn't buy it.
What do they want to say?
What do they actually want to say?
I think one of two things.
That you're superficial and only care about branding.
Yes, and that maybe that the design of Rolex is not that great.
Oh, that it's not like good enough to be a standalone.
It's not a good-looking watch. It just because it says Rolex on it.
Have you not seen the RC Perpetual? It's perfect.
Is it? You
yes,
like it, right?
I love it. It's the perfect watch. It is the perfect watch.
What about the other Rolex watches, the designs?
No. I mean, yeah, but the OP is to me, it's quintessential Rolex. It's oyster case, oyster bracelet, clear lines, sturdy, 36 millimeter available. Perfect. I think of Rolex like of a Porsche 911. It's like... I'm out if it's about... cars.
it's just like they make very very little steps and very little like optimizations. For example, the Daytona from the 116 to the 126. They again managed to make a better looking watch, but only by a touch, and it
very
still
incremental
looks
changes.
like the Daytona from the
from a long time
from
ago.
a long time ago. Hot take.
You said it so well. Absolutely. So
no bad thing. I mean, he's right. A lot of people wear Rolex because it says Rolex on it, but I think it's not a problem. And I think this status came from Rolex making damn good and good looking watches, so they have like earned it.
Yeah, exactly. They've earned it. Next one says, you didn't hate quartz until somebody told you to.
Oh.
Kind of.
I agree.
Kind of, right?
Yes.
I used to wear a Swatch when I was 18. I got it for my graduation as a graduation present.
Cute.
And right? It was like a white Swatch, like a white face.
Do you still have it?
I do. It's broken now.
Mm.
Good job, Swatch. It's broken and it had like a rubber strap, and I don't know what it is, like chemically. The rubber strap is now like super sticky.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? When like rubber
Sounds like
kind
cancer inducing.
Probably is. I was so happy with that quartz, and I didn't know that quartz is something to be despised until further going down the watch rabbit hole. And now I despise it for a certain reason in some watches, not in all watches. If it's reasonably priced, I don't mind a quartz, but if it's, and that's like my thing that I have, my issue with quartz is when they put quartz in like a 34 millimeter lady sized, like towards lady marketed watch, put a quartz movement in it, even though they could totally fit in an automatic mechanical one, and then price it almost the same as the mechanical. That's what I have an issue with, and that's upsetting me, and that's why
Why is it?
Why am I supposed to pay for so much for so little technology?
So it's like a lazy move from the companies for like Patek. We don't want to like develop a little movement for the Aquanaut.
And then they put like some diamonds on it to justify the price hike. Let's put my Bulgari Serpentine. I call it mine. I don't own one, but I want to. I get that the snake hand is very little and it must be very difficult to fit in a mechanical movement into that tiny watch head. And it's still priced that way because of, the bracelet, the manufacturing of it is quite expensive, I presume.
I suppose.
Anything other than that, like the smaller Royal Oaks, the Aquanauts for ladies.
Too expensive, too
Give me a break. What about you?
Who told you to hate quartz watches? If you go down the way of a watch enthusiast, it always starts with some watch, and then I think you discover that there are mechanical watches, and then you start to understand, oh my god, this is really literally a mechanical watch which like is powered by a spring.
Yeah.
And I think you are so fascinated then by it that you kind of despise the simplicity of a quartz movement because it's so uncomplicated in the mechanical sense.
It's too simple.
It's too simple and it's too easy. And I think to justify the price of these watches, it's a valid point to say, oh, look how much work they did put in, although they didn't have to. And I think that's where it comes from.
So do we agree with that hot take?
Not really. I think
I do. Kind of. I did not hate quartz until I was told to. Sort of. That's how it started.
But who told you? It's the watch community.
It's just like something that you read.
But I think it comes from within.
Talking about quartz watches, next one says, Grand Seiko are devoid of any type of style or design, apart for some magic dial finishes, and using electricity instead of mechanical regulation may as well be wearing a quartz digital. Oh, and there's another one in relation to Grand Seiko. It says, I hate Grand Seiko.
Ooh. Okay, let's go down that rabbit hole.
Someone really dislikes Grand Seiko.
That's two hot takes in one. Let's start with the latter one.
Might as well just, instead of a spring drive, wear just like a digital quartz watch, like a Casio. I disagree.
I disagree strongly, to be honest. I think if we go back to the discussion we had 1 minute before, like making things more complicated than they need to be, a spring drive is literally that. Like making a mechanical watch even more complicated by making it rely on an electrical component to make it more precise. I think this is really a nice thing.
I didn't think of it that way, but you're right. And the devoid of any style and design. You've owned a Grand Seiko once.
I did.
We had the snowflake. No, the
white birch.
The white birch, yeah.
I bought the white birch.
Very similar.
I bought it because I got a really good price on it. I wouldn't have bought it for the full price. I got a really big discount, like 30% or something.
That's a good one.
And then I had it. And the dial's incredible. I mean, he says it himself.
some magic dial finishes.
Yes, the dials are incredible. The movement finishing is incredible. For the white birch, I like it. It reminded me a little of a Patek, but then the watch in a whole was quite underwhelming. I wore it like 2 weeks and then I stopped wearing and...
You got over it?
Yes, I got over it, and then it was like laying around for 1 year, and then I had someone who said, hey, do you still have your white birch? I would love to buy it. And I was like, okay, what would you pay? And it was like 100 euro more or less than I paid, and I was like, okay, let's go. Yeah, design-wise, I don't know why, but I think he's right.
I'm also not there's very little emotion that I have towards Grand Seiko when it comes to...
Was it always that way?
I mean, I do appreciate the, as you said, the finishing details and the level of finishing in itself. It is incredible. I think there's only very few watches we had when filming that were so perfect.
Yeah, flawless.
And flawless, yeah. We say
like
that,
a rendering, like computer animated.
Yes. I mean, the Seamaster from Omega
was... The Seamaster as well.
That one
and
was
most of the Rolex
incredible.
are really well finished too.
But Grand Seiko really is up there.
Yes, it's incredible. But it fits the Japanese like philosophy, I think. And then the design is so lame.
The bracelets are awful.
Most of them don't taper. And they really look very unelegant, which makes them hard to wear, in my opinion. So
yeah, especially if you've got smaller wrists, it's a hassle with Grand Seiko. Agree. Good hot take though.
Good hot take.
Richard Mille make extremely overpriced watches that are often somewhat ugly, which I think, if I may start on this, is kind of the point with Richard Mille.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think they are the what's the fashion label from Kanye West? Yeezy. Well, no, let me rewind that. I don't think Yeezy is ugly on purpose. Which designer am I thinking about? Prada is meant to be like unconventionally, like Prada is meant to be like not beautiful. That's why they often use a lot of browns. Like that's the thing. It's meant to be like a bit weird looking.
So someone at Prada and Richard Mille, they sit in their headquarters and they're like, what's the ugliest design
thing
we can think of?
I just think it's meant to be like edgy and provocative, out of the norm for a reason. Because I mean, at that price point, which is ridiculous. The prices are insane.
Yes, they are.
I know they do their own screws. They manufacture their own teeny
and
little
the watches
screws.
are pretty durable.
Yes, all of that jazz. But at that level of money to spend, those people, the clients of Richard Mille, they need something to distinguish themselves. It has to be something that cannot look like a Patek, cannot look like AP or A. Lange und Söhne.
Agree.
It has to be so crazy because it's like, do you see how much money I can spend on such a ridiculous looking watch?
Yes, I think
that's the point.
That's the point and the biggest problem, because I don't get the brand Richard Mille, but then I have a friend who has a few Richard Milles. And he told me, when you don't get it, you're too poor. And I'm like, oh.
He's probably right.
That said, the 6702 is a really beautiful watch.
Do you know which ones I really like?
You do like some Richard Mille?
I mean,
which one?
There's this candy line from Richard Mille. I put up some images of the ones I like.
And you show me afterwards.
I will show you. New, and then it's the bigger sign. I don't know what the word is in English.
New is better than vintage.
Open mouth, yes. New is better than vintage. Yeah.
Objectively, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Objectively, it totally is. I mean...
But what about subjectively?
Subjectively, it is the wrong word to use. There's no better when it comes to watch taste. What is better in your opinion might not be better in mine.
But for you, if you have to choose, for example, between like...
always new. If I can choose, if there's like a...
You have a birth year Cartier Santos. Why is that? I mean, what a stupid question.
Why is that? Because I was born in that year and I wanted the Cartier watch. That's just... See, in it, it's... I only get that Cartier because of the birth year attachment, not because I think super old Cartier watches are better.
So you would generally speaking, buy always the new watch rather than the vintage one.
It's easier that way. Servicing, knowing that it might not endured some like bumps or was like in water or something. No hidden damages that I might not be aware of, or possibly could be. I mean, that might be a bit of a paranoid thing to think about, but if I can get it new, if I can put in the scratches myself, whatever, I'm going to get the new one.
Is there any watch where you think the old one is...
The Aquanaut.
Yeah, right.
That would be the exception.
Why is that though?
Because the dial design is different, and that would be my other point. If there is a certain design that's no longer done, what are you supposed to do? You have to go for vintage or like.
So you are saying that if Patek Philippe is going to release an Aquanaut with the old hand grenade dial design, you would still go for the new one, and the vintage is like kind of a like emergency solution.
Yeah. Totally, absolutely. Okay. If they would have redone it,
I agree. I agree.
Totally. In general, new is mostly better.
Yes, I would agree
right?
too. Yes.
That's we can agree on this. Okay, next and last and probably hottest one.
Hottest.
Filling your collection with numerous micro brands and homages, for example, glorified fakes. That comment says, while simultaneously coveting watches from higher brands shows lack of discipline and financial irresponsibility. You could have had that Speedmaster by now if you didn't choose to spend your money on filler watches. Ba, ba, ba.
Apply water to burnt area.
That one.
That was a long one.
People are getting called out. It was a long one.
And it has a lot of likes. How many likes does it have?
48 and a couple of comments. Someone saying, I know. and then like that emoji. And then another one says, oof, right in the fields. And then another one says, I feel attacked.
It seems like people agree. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
I think about it so often. I bought so many watches. Also, like, I didn't buy a Moon's watch because I hate that watch, but like a PRX and a Gentleman and the Hamilton Field watch and these Seikos. And if you add them up, it's like really like 4,000 or 5,000 euros spent on watches I, to be honest, very, very rarely wear. And could have spent it on a Tudor or a Rolex or something. So,
but the difference here though is, and the comment says it, if you are thinking about something like more expensive but still go to buying, that's the issue. I think if you just bought these without having anything other in mind, that's still very irresponsible.
Yes.
If you don't love them anymore. But if you're pining for a Breitling Navi timer, but you keep buying very more affordable or cheaply made chronographs, being like, oh, I wish I have a Navi timer, but I don't have the money right now, so I'm going for this.
So that's why you don't have the money right now.
That is exactly why you don't have. It's a hard truth. It doesn't.
Yes,
it's not very pleasant.
No, it's not very pleasant, but it's true.
I feel like so many. I would say like 99% of people have been financially irresponsible when it comes to watches in this hobby.
I think it's part of the hobby.
That's probably true. We are all very irresponsible. Money I've spent on watches could have been spent far better on other things.
Let's not talk about it.
Let's not. And that's how we're going to end this video today.
Don't forget to head to the community post, leave your hot take, and we're gonna react to that hot takes in the next video, don't we?
Yeah. That's a good idea. We could do that. Give us your hottest hot takes that have not been included in this, or any additional comments that you have to what we just discussed in this video.
I love these
Put them
videos.
Down below. Me too. Oh, me too. I love the guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. And then I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.